Welcome to the return of the AusComX Show. I can't even say my own show's name. Nice.
Here we are.
And as you can see, Morgan is missing, and we've got Peter Wilson, or by Peter Wilson, I should say.
Hello.
And
easy to tell us apart. I've got a lot of this going on.
And I've got almost none.
There you go.
So tonight we're talking to Bradley Adan. He is about to launch a Kickstarter tomorrow for Super Ready Battle Armor 5. Give us a thumbs up, Bradley, if I got that right. Yep, cool. Okay. So yeah, that's how I'm starting tomorrow. So let's get on with the show and let's talk to Bradley. Hello, Bradley. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, thanks.
Super.
And just to anyone watching the intro there, it is Peter, even though the intro was very blatantly talking about Morgan. So, I'll probably start off the questions tonight because, well, Morgan's not here, and he used to do all the work for me, all the heavy lifting. So I'm not gonna put that pressure on Peter. So I'll just start with the normal basic one. For anyone who hasn't seen the last show, tell us a bit about yourself and what first got you into comics.
Yeah, no, my name is Bradley Adan, as Sizzle nicely said before. Got into comics quite young more so writing as a form of escapism. I suffer from a couple of chronic illnesses now. But as a child, I got diagnosed with a pretty severe heart condition at the age of 5, and yeah, just kind of dove headfirst into video games, comics, and stuff, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. So, what would be your key influences, you reckon? I'm saying manga.
Yeah, 100% anime manga. Very influenced by a lot of the 90s, early 2000s anime, and then did a bit of a pivot, worked backwards, and shifted into more manga and comics in my late teens.
Okay, so is there any particular writer, any particular?
Yeah, so Ichiro Oda, the guy behind One Piece, probably one of the biggest selling mangas in the world.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, outsells Batman. It's insane.
Wow,
That is impressive.
that is insane. Yeah, that's impressive.
Some crazy numbers.
Yeah. So well, I guess probably with that comic, is there any characters you identify with yourself or with your own characters, for example?
That's an interesting one, Shane.
Oh, sorry.
Damn, man, there's a lot of characters in One Piece. A lot of the tropes that get heavily used in the Shonen Jump brand, which One Piece is a part of.
Yep.
Boiled down to never giving up, believing in your friends, and just persevering completely. And I like to think that the perseverance that the main characters and whatnot has done the reverse and instilled things onto myself more so than seeing myself in the characters.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think there's a lot of learning that we can do from our fictional characters.
Yeah, well, that's true. I'd say the same things with myself. When I was growing up, I had a lot of comic influence. I was big time comic, just not manga and stuff. I didn't even know that existed when I was growing up. And yeah, I was very similar. I took on a lot of like morals and just lessons from the characters I read. So I can totally understand that. So you're a writer.
Yes.
So what's the weirdest thing you've ever come up with, and did it end up in print?
Weirdest thing that I've probably ever come up with. It's a bit subjective, but
No, that's cool.
Probably one of there's two moments in Super Ready Battle Armor that I've come up with. One has made it to print, and the second hasn't quite. The first would be crafting a superior AI intelligence that is remotely controlling a bucket and a mop for its body.
I do love that. I do love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That character did make me double take, but I loved every second of reading it.
Thanks, man. Susan is probably one of my favorite characters, alongside Insanus to write. And most of, if not all of the crazy, wacky aspects come from them. And the second one that hasn't quite made it to print is Professor Insanus inventing a magical glove that can pull the food from anime into material being, and theoretically could be used to pull anything out of a screen, but he only utilizes it and markets it towards being used to steal food from anime.
I like that. Yeah, feed the masses.
That's it.
Now, I'm going to go just left field here. If you've got tattoos, then a tattoo you haven't got. If you haven't got tattoos, if you were going to get a tattoo, what would it be?
Don't have any tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if I can get tattoos, but hypothetically speaking...
Yeah, hypothetically speaking.
I've actually haven't put a whole lot of thought into this.
That's okay. This is a left field question, so you know.
I'd probably like to get something from One Piece. There's just as a basic first tattoo, I'd get the plain black X on the back of my hand that the Straw Hat crew get to distinguish one another's from a doppelganger enemy that they have to fight against.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Very, very like tropey, but yeah. I reckon that'd be a pretty cool little first tattoo.
Yeah. So mine's a little bit bigger than that, but it involves an X. It's here on the shoulder, but it's to do with the X-Men. So
nice.
That's my dream tattoo. It's like massive, but I can't afford it. So yeah, so I might throw over to
I'd get
Peter.
an X on me because that's where the treasure is.
Ooh.
Nice.
I like it.
It marks the spot.
And I'm not going to ask where the spot is.
I was about to ask and I thought, is that safe?
No. I don't want to say it because it's crass, but it would hurt to get it on my penis.
Don't want to say it.
So I won't say it. I'll keep it classy.
Love it. Love it.
So I'm curious. I had the pleasure of reading your first 4 issues last night.
Ooh, spicy.
And I was really impressed with the size of the cast of characters you've got.
Thanks, man. Is this a good surprise or a bad surprise?
No, good. It's not very often you see that. Usually, most indie comics are limited to, they sort of have a focal point of maybe 2-3 characters. You've got a pretty wide cast. It reminded me of X-Men, Teen Titans, like you said, the very early 2000s sort of cartoons you might see. Is it a challenge juggling all those introductions, the subplots? It must be hard to keep that all going.
I've kind of gotten into a flow with it now. At the start, it definitely was. This is I had done a pilot version of the series before, and the introduction is very different. So the introduction in this version of Super Ready Battle Armor would be, I'd consider the first two issues, issue one almost, in terms of introducing the characters and whatnot. So the juggling of giving everybody enough screen time is still probably the hardest aspect of juggling the big cast. But now that I've gotten to issue 5, it's getting easier. Where before it was who's important to get front and center first, which in issue 1 you had the flash forward sequence, which gave you a taste of the action, and then we hard cut to focusing only on BA and his immediate circle, and then issue 2 was wholly focused on Infector and his circle at the same time of the events of issue 1, up until they meet that at that halfway point in issue 2, and then the worlds collide and we pretty much steamroll ahead. The plot takes care of itself for me at the moment, which is nice. And the characters are just kind of bouncing off one another, and I'm just along for the ride at this stage.
Look, I definitely feel in lesser hands that sheer amount of exposition and introductions, which is always tricky, would not be done as well. But I think you've handled it really well. I think the dialogue flows, it reads really well and naturally. Like the pacing's really good. It's funny where it's funny, but then you get serious when you have to. There's a good little midsection there you've hit, I think.
Sick. Thanks so much, man. That means a lot.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
I might just jump in there. Oh, sorry.
Yes, Shane.
There's a bit of a delay between us, I'm noticing.
Yes.
So all I was going to say is, with the story itself, this is issue 5. Do you have them all planned out? You've got a number that you're going to stop at. You don't have to give us the number if it's a bit of your own little secret there, but have you got a number of issues in your mind that this story is going to take place?
So I would consider up to issue 6, part 1, pardon me, of the story story arc that I'm working on, and I tentatively say Act 1 will wrap up in maybe 12 issues.
Okay.
Ideally. As a writer, though, I hate to make promises like that because it'll always blow out to more.
Of course.
But at the current stage, it'd probably be probably about 12 issues, I reckon.
Right. Okay.
So we'll probably end up doing 4 trades.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Once we have those up and collected and all out, and then reassess what the popularity is sort of like and the future of the series going from there. But issue 12 will be a period, but the door will be left open for more.
So what you're saying is going to go 100 and beyond. So
sure.
Good to know. Good to know.
I mean, we could start aiming for 100 and go like 1,000.
I'll put aside
I assume you've been gestating this idea for a while.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Been
which-
working.
No.
Been working on it for over 10 years now total.
Yeah, great.
Yep.
Probably a late around when I was maybe 18. So actually probably more than that. It's probably 12 years now because I forget how old I am.
I have that same problem.
I mean,
I'm trying
after like 20, you just kind of, they all just, it's numbers.
No, it wasn't until I was 40 that they all became numbers.
Well, all right. I guess I'm starting early then.
Starting early. What I was going to ask is, just from your perspective, tell us about the protagonists. There, I can actually say the word. From your perspective, because reading it, you get your own ideas, of course. So from your, like, you know, are they single-minded, and, you know, are they, what's the word I'm looking for here? Self-righteous, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What would you say they are? And I know there's more than one, so just
that was going to be my first thing. I was
just do the main ones if you want.
Yeah.
Although they're all main ones. Oh, I don't know. I'll let you decide.
I was going to ask preface which one you were talking about, but you caught me to it. The first one that popped to mind was definitely Infector. He is the personification of my fear of death, in relation to he being the solution to that fear. Like I mentioned earlier, chronic heart illness since I was a wee lad. Going through all of the whole chronic illness side of things, there was a lot of the like why me sort of shit. And it would just be easier if there was this superhero that could come and fix. And of course, being in a children's hospital, there was a lot of different kids around me as well that were also sick. So it was a pretty depressing place.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And so after having a few pretty close calls with death itself, and not really having any of those experiences that you hear about, like seeing a bright, warm light and seeing your life flash before your eyes. Not that there was much of a life there because I was only 5, but that emptiness kind of scared the shit out of me, and that's essentially where the whole concept of Infector's powers came from.
That's really cool.
So in terms of your question, it's hard to pin down with Infector just a little bit because of how personal it is.
Yep.
But he pretty much represents a lot of my insecurities, and because of that, he's a very insecure individual who wants to try and break out of his shell, but is also scared to do so.
Okay.
So kind of like a paradoxical hero. Wants to be that, but sorry, what were you going to say?
After I read your comics, I read up about you, and you've been very open about your heart condition as a child and everything you've been through. And it really does give the comic some great context reading it, because I think Infector has that thing that all classic heroes have that we can relate to, where we'd love to be able to give a little extra health, extra life to someone to help. Much like Superman was the archetypal immigrant to Schuster and Siegel. You know, Batman's the archetypal orphan that gives us strength. I think Infector's much the same.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I'm glad that translates across, and I like that. I like how you equated him to almost being like a healer in a MMO.
Absolutely. I love the imagery that goes with that too. The life and death battery that comes up.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool way to.
It's a nice little visual. It's clever.
Yeah, thanks, man. Oh, this is cool. I like this podcast.
Now I'm gonna start insulting you to bring you down a few pegs.
Yes. Emotional roller coaster. And then on the flip side of that, you've got BA, who is pretty much your stock standard hero. He is the fun, active, outgoing. Everybody loves him. But he's got some shit going on too, which is about to be revealed in this issue, which I'm really excited for, because I'm getting to the point where I'm surpassing what I've previously done in the pilot. So I'm really excited about this current issue in particular. Mainly just because it's super new content that I'm excited to get out. The next one would probably be Violet, I would say. She's definitely taken a much more front and center role than she did in the pilot, where she was a bit more of a gag character, where she's a bit more serious, and I know how to write a girl better, essentially. And she is pretty much encapsulated by what's the word? Optimism. I got stuck on enthusiastic. She's very optimistic about everything. She is pretty much in love with life and creativity. And then on the duality side of her, you have Eclair, who's the secret agent that's related to BA. And she's the first antagonist of the series.
Okay.
And then I'd probably say everyone else is kind of supporting roles at the moment.
I forgot to download 2 pictures.
Right.
Take over, Peter. No pressure.
So I'm curious as to what your how's your working process with your artist? I hope I'm saying this right, Lewis.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet? How did you kick this off? Did you just give him a script? Did someone introduce you to?
The internet is a wonderful thing. 100%.
So I hear.
I actually found him on a I guess you'd call it a crowdsourcing hub called Upwork.
Upwork. Yeah.
So I put up a job posting and got a bunch. It was really weird. I actually basically just did a job posting, had applications sent to me, and made a short list, and ended up deciding to go with Lewis. And yeah, we've done 5 issues together, plus a short 3-page comic for Free Comic Book Day before COVID hit real hard.
Oh.
Yeah, it was actually for 2020's Free Comic Book Day, which we never actually got to do.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
So all that art you sent me, is that all by Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's show some of it then. Like even these ones here.
Yep, that's the cover for issue 5.
Oh, that's the cover. No.
Yeah. So we've got 2 covers. So this one's not done by Lewis. This one's done by a good friend of mine. Different. Yeah. A Melbourne artist named Kai Link. He does a lot of the comic circuits.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So those 5 pages. Is it 5? No, 6 pages. Do
Yeah.
do you want me to go through them and you just quickly
Yeah,
have a bit of it? Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
I got them in random order, so I don't know if how they might be in the wrong order. I'm not sure because their file names are all over the shop. So.
That's all good. They are, but it's fine.
I love this thing where you have the I don't know what you'd call it, the real world version of them, and then they do things as with little childish versions of themselves.
Oh, the chibi, smaller,
Yeah.
cartoony, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking through them today again, and yeah, I noticed that. So yeah.
Very typical in anime manga.
Oh, see, I'm not used to manga,
Yep.
so yeah.
Something that they utilize quite often in speech bubbles is like a little tiny picture of like whatever character is speaking. If they want to do like a big establishing shot, so they'll have the actual bubble with the words in it, and then tiny little picture of the main character that's talking, just to indicate who's actually talking without having to compromise on the art.
Well, that's really cool. I didn't know it did that. But then again, I'm very Western comics. I'm a nice and boring.
No, there's some really interesting differences between the two mediums, even though they're basically the same.
All right. I was bringing up another picture for you. Anything there? Oh, yeah.
So I actually started
this
chapter with a full introspection of the main villain for the first story arc.
Okay.
So these two are the couple that's been put on pause due to their ambitions to make a livable city.
Okay. Is this a bit more of the same? Yep.
Yeah. So this, if you can put one and one together,
I can't.
That's all right. Maybe when you're a bit older.
Sorry. I thought I'd throw that out there. See what you say. Cool.
Just helping her with some lab work,
of course,
and then having a cigarette afterwards.
Of course, as you do when you help someone with lab work.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And something I learnt from reading a couple of different manga is utilizing real world elements to do world exposition. So I think it was in issue 1, I utilized the TV reporter in the TV that's in the background to give some exposition and world building.
Oh, nice.
Doing the same here in issue 5 as well. And instead of it just being a couple of panels, it's the full page, which then transitions into it just being played on a laptop in the room where the guys that were fighting in the other page that we saw, I think, second.
And yeah, just to keep it all random and in different order. And I think this is...
And then this is back to the couple when they're being all introspective.
Cool.
And monologuing and shit.
Yeah, I've just run through all the pages. Everyone can see the awesome art. So yeah, that's tomorrow, people. Kickstarter. Bradley, what I'll do is, do you have a quick way to get that link that you can put into the private
certainly do.
chat? And then I can spread that out to everyone. I should have asked you for this beforehand. So
that's all right. I should have been organized too.
Yeah, so Kickstarter tomorrow. Super Ready Battle Armor. I'll get it right.
It's so good, man.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
SRBA. If it's too much of a mouthful, just go SRBA.
No, because then I'll mix the letters up. You just watch. I'm good at this. I'm a master at stuffing up words and names. So yeah, that's tomorrow, everyone. What time do you plan to launch? Do you have a time, or you're just gonna wing
I believe it's 6 a.m.
6 a.m. Wow, you're eager.
I know. I get up around that time anyway for work, unfortunately.
Oh, fair enough.
There we are.
Awesome. I've got another
Thanks for
left
that.
field question for you.
Shoot.
Beautiful. You get to work with one major established character. Who would you pick? Doesn't have to be comics, cartoons, maybe.
Just to be different and not say One Piece again, I'll go Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. He's a smart fella, that one.
And it kind of bleeds. I think a lot of Spider-Man writing styles bleed that line between comic and manga sometimes anyway.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think I'd fit nicely in there. I don't know if I could handle any of the other Western heroes.
Well, you picked a good one.
Yeah, no, I do like my Spider-Man.
Now I've got. Oh, sorry. You look like you're about to
No,
ask
you go,
something,
Shane.
Peter.
No,
I
you're
was
all
just
right.
going to say this is a common question by Morgan, so I thought I'd just to say hello to Morgan if you're watching. He has this one. You got 5 minutes to sit down with your protagonist. Why can't I say that word seriously? To give them some advice. What would it be?
That is good.
Have good friends, take strong counsel, and believe in yourself. I don't think I need 5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
If
I
you
like
surround
that.
yourself with good people, listen to their advice, and believe in yourself, you can't go wrong. Can I adhere to that life advice myself? Probably not, but I think it's still good advice.
It is good advice. That's
You
very
say
good
yours,
advice.
actually.
That's awesome. Now let
Well,
Peter
I don't
say what he
know
was going
what.
to say. Oh, wait.
What was I going to say?
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it's going. When you write a script, how long is that process?
So the other chronic thing that I was talking about before, I've recently been diagnosed with ADHD. So it can take anywhere from a day to a month. It varies. If
Yeah.
I get in the zone, I can smash out a script pretty quick. Other times it's like pulling teeth.
Sure.
It's getting that motivation or riding that motivation wave, catching it at the right time. Otherwise, probably if I had to, we'll say no motivation and had to sit down and just normal it, 2 weeks maybe.
And what advice would you give to anyone looking to start their own comic? They want to get writing. They want to start creating. What do you tell them?
I believe a very famous man once said, "Just do it." I think his name was Nike. The brand Nike.
What comics can you do?
The Flash. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Oh man, that was terrible. But yeah, honestly, just start. Just start writing, start drawing. It's never too late to start, but it is. I was gonna say something really intelligent there, but it just escaped me at the end of it. But yeah, just do it, man. You will only be terrible for so long. The longer you keep at it, the better you're gonna get. So just start now before it's too late.
We're big believers of that at ComX too.
Just end it on a real somber note.
No. Oh, there's no ending. I'll throw a question out there now. If you could collaborate with anyone in the industry, in the comic industry or manga industry, I guess we'll throw that out there as well. I think I might know the answer to this one anyway, but who would it be? Like a dream collaboration.
Probably a completely different manga artist than you're thinking of.
Okay.
A guy named Junji Ito. He's
Excellent
very yes. He's very prolific horror mangaka. I don't think I could hold a candle to the stuff that he writes, but I would love to work with him and just pick apart his brain. His work is just absolutely insane, just completely nuts. Definitely worth a read if you're a horror fan.
You've got someone agreeing there.
Thank you. I don't know
Second.
how much of the anime that I could recommend though. But if you use that as a jumping on point, then go right ahead.
The good thing about Junji's stuff, you can find it in most bookstores as well. He's very popular at the moment. It's awesome.
I think my favorite is at the moment is Uzumaki, which is all about spirals.
Yes.
Okay.
Really
Super weird,
horrifying sort of. Yeah. Ugh. Big on the body horror as well.
Very.
Yeah.
I don't particularly want to see the human anatomy through his eyes.
Although he draws it so well to be able to distort it, I kind of do. Just to get some tips on how he does that. My God.
Well, he was a dentist for a few years, I think. I think he studied anatomy for a long time at medical school.
Ah.
So he's putting it to good use. Instead of wasting his time being a doctor, he did
That's
comics
it.
instead. So it worked
Oh, I haven't seen his Frankenstein interpretation. That'd be sick.
Nor I, actually. It's the one I haven't read yet.
Oh, there you go. Something to catch up on.
Hell
I'll
yes.
do one question for Peter, and then I'll do our traditional questions after that to wrap up our time with you, Bradley. So you got something else, Peter, or do you want me to go straight into it?
No, I'm good.
Good. Okay. So there's our typical questions. Morgan usually asks these, and he's better at asking questions than me. But if your villain was sitting in the back of the car and you're going through the McDonald's drive-through, what would they order?
4 double quarter pounders with extra bacon and extra pickles.
Nice. I think I'd order that also.
Yeah. For real.
Okay, and
I think I feel sick just making that order. Oh, the oil. Ugh. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Actually, I just realized I asked some of these already. So the big one that he always asks at the end, before we present the gifts, which Morgan hasn't done his gift because he didn't have time. So it's just me. I don't know if Peter had time. But favorite food, watching your favorite movie. Now, when I say favorite movie, I don't mean of all time. I mean right this moment in time.
All right. Eating ramen, watching Captain Harlock, Space Pirate.
Oh, nice.
It is a very cringe movie, but it's so good it's bad. The other way around, so bad it's good.
Yeah, so bad it's good. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You're talking like me now. Must be contagious.
That's it. It's actually for free on YouTube to watch legally.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up.
1080p. It's pretty good. Based on a 80s anime.
Beautiful.
So it's hella cheesy.
That's fine.
Nice. And I've totally stuffed up the timing, so I'm going to ask one more question. So what's the most challenging thing about this project so far, or just the comic industry in general to you?
My project in particular, the biggest challenges is primarily just funding, hence Kickstarter.
Yep.
But most of the other challenges are quite easily manageable. I would say exposure is another one. Is getting yourself out there is probably one of the
Yes,
harder.
that's very hard.
Getting yourself recognized and known is probably the hardest, next to whatever financial things could possibly affect you. And that kind of bleeds into the macro question that you had there as well. Indie comics is hard. I do feel it's harder in Australia than it is in, say, the States or Japan. I think comics here in Australia have had a bit of a weird sort of niche still, almost. Like, it didn't take off as big as it has in other countries. Still obviously quite large here, but I still feel we're quite young in our comic age in the AUS.
Yeah,
almost
no,
said
no, I can
the
agree with
US
that.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, almost. Well
Yeah,
done. You did it.
almost got there. Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of passion for it,
Yes.
but not a super amount of support. And I'm talking more on the macro level. So like there are a few arts. What do they call them? There's a special word for it, but it's basically a handout.
Oh yeah, grants.
That's the one. It sounds better than a handout. There are some art grants, but obviously it's more probably focused in on your traditional arts, less so in like your graphic novels and things like that. So I mean, I do feel like there is stuff there, but the foundation is still growing, I think, in our country.
Very
I agree
true.
with that.
So that would be what I would say the biggest challenges are, is in our indie comic scene in Australia.
Yeah. And like you were saying before, getting out there and being heard and seen is also, because I'll be the first to admit, comics developed from the simple fact that 3 years ago, I think it is now, I discovered indie comics for the first time.
My point exactly.
Yeah. So I went, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Yeah. Someone has to do something about this. And for some godforsaken reason, I decided that was me. But I've given it my best shot. But
the hero
so that you didn't want. Cool.
But we need.
Yes. Well, what I'll do is I'll move on to my gift for you. And what the gift is what me and Morgan do. And I've limited Peter to if he's got a chance
get something
or not.
Done.
You did get something done.
Yeah.
Me and Morgan, what we do is neither of us are artists.
Yeah.
So we're allowed 10 minutes to draw as much as we can of a character from the person's comic.
Yes.
So with Peter, I limited that to a few minutes because he's an artist and it just isn't fair. So yeah. So I will bring up my gift to you, which is
oof, yes. Not what I was expecting, but I'm loving it. So Shane, why did you choose this piece to replicate?
Just look cool.
Love it.
That's all it was. It was just like I was like looking at everything else. I'm like, oh, I went, this one stands out the most. People will know that it's from the comic, because if I draw anything else, it could look like it was from anywhere. It could just if I do a person, unless they have a very specific thing about them, and I couldn't find quickly enough a picture of that dude as a person with those two cool arms.
Yep.
So because I needed reference, I couldn't just do it off the top of my head. I'm not an artist. So I went, oh, there's a picture I want. Not quite what I was after, but it'll do.
That'll work.
It looks very cool, and it'll be very obvious what I was trying to draw. Emphasis on trying.
Yeah. No, it's very noticeable what it is. You've done better than what I can do, hence I only do the words.
I opted for the professor character.
Yes.
With the bucket.
Oh, love it.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome.
I like drawing
Oh my
scientists
God.
and doctors and the like. They're always
Yes.
fun.
At least I didn't go second. That's all I'm glad of now, because I couldn't have followed that.
Yes, you could have.
Oh,
Ridiculous.
thanks, guys. Those are awesome.
Cool.
No problem.
Well, that's the end of the show. Give yourself a bit of a plug for tomorrow, and then we'll wrap up.
Absolutely. Guys, if you like anime, manga, or just want to support indie comics in Australia, please jump over to our Kickstarter to help fund the creation of issue 5 of Super Ready Battle Armor and get yourself something really cool in the process. We're going to have pins. We're going to have stickers. If you want a pin of a super advanced robot lady who just may happen to look like a bucket, we got that for you. We'll have 5 comics there on offer, as well as a selection of Halftone Productions, other comics that is under the label. So like In Purgatory, others that I can't remember because I don't want to promise you something that isn't on there.
Yep. Makes sense.
But yeah, no, for the first time we will have stickers as well. I'm excited about those. They look so cool. We have a couple of slots for getting yourself cameoed into the comic, which will also come with a little character sheet as well. Panicking now because I think that's everything.
Cool. Well, for something different, we've got ourselves a question from the audience.
Ooh, that's cool. I try and do as much research about any particular thing that I'm doing at that time, and get as much accurate information as possible. And then I decide whether or not I'm going to adhere or eschew the laws of physics. So in particular, big reveal that's about to happen in this issue, BA gets superpowers. Those superpowers are going to be gravity based. I did a lot of research into that, and I'm going to try and have that adhere as much as possible, even though obviously humans can't control gravity. But then when it comes to Infector's abilities of being able to bring people back from the dead, kind of not really. Like I've done research obviously into like how the body functions and the breakdown of atoms and things and positive and negatives. And then just decided to go with the metaphor of the positive and negative, being the life energy and death energy, the positive and the negative. Neither are bad, neither is good. There are just essentially different energies, and when one overtakes the other, depending on what you are, the body perishes. So you could have a life form, you could have a death form. Completely made up bullshit.
Octavius. Cool. Well, I worded that really badly before. It's not the end of the show. It's just the end of our time with Bradley. So support his Kickstarter tomorrow. I will be up at 6 because I have this thing where I always want to be the first one. So I will be trying to be the first one to support it.
Excellent.
So good luck to everyone to beat me.
Let's go.
Yes,
the challenge has been set.
Yes. So thank you very much for tonight. It was very entertaining and educational. Yes.
Thanks for
that. It was
having
awesome
me,
to hear
guys.
your perspective. Yeah.
No, anytime. It was awesome to be on.
Cool. Thank you very much, Bradley. I'll let you go.
See you guys.
Have a great night. And we'll go to the next section. See you later, buddy.
See you guys.
See you, Brad. Have a good one.
And I really should have had that ready.
Kick us off. What do we do now?
And because Peter's not familiar with the show, he's not familiar with the fact that we now talk about a comic we've read this week. I will start.
Excellent.
Am I holding it the right way? Hang on.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the buttons. It's been that long since I've done this show.
Oh, that's a great cover.
Slasher. This is
Look at that.
an interesting little read. It's only very small, which is probably why I picked it. Because I didn't have a lot of time. And yes, so basically, I love the beginning of this one. I'll just read out the first page. This comic contains references and depictions of suicide, depression, and self-harm. So it's not a very nice little thing. Please exercise caution when reading. If you're distressed or need help, call Lifeline 1131114. So that's pretty cool.
Always important. Yeah.
You are stronger than you think. So
absolutely.
Nice little black and white. Nice little black and white. Basically, beautiful. It's this. I'm assuming dude. Yeah, dude. Depressed, very upset. I'm not going to try to bring the show down, so I won't go into everything. But basically, he's attacked by a murderer, a slasher, a guy with a knife and a mask. Pretty much Jason, I guess you'd say. Yes, he does. Sizzle pick slasher. And
that's nice.
Yes. Yeah, so and he has to very almost instantly work through his issues and fight back. And,
interesting.
Should I ruin the ending? I don't think I will. But yeah, so he has to fight back. Yeah, no spoilers. So he has to fight back. So that's it's only a small comic, so not a lot happens. But that's
Where'd you
my
pick that
slasher.
one up?
I picked this up from, well, I've got a pile, and I got it either from Impact or D's Comics in Canberra. The pile has stuff from both comic stores, so I can't remember which one I got from which. But yeah, if you want a copy, I should have really looked up how you can get a copy before I did this, but time has been short for me.
Great cover, very Saul Bass 1960s.
Yeah, and it's quite a weird concept. I don't really fully understand what happens at the end, but it's still cool.
Nice.
Well, just before the end, you know what I mean. So yeah, it was a cool little comic. As much as it was a sad little topic, it was still very cool to read.
Yeah, absolutely. I found this obscure little number online.
I love that comic thing behind you. I'm so jealous.
That's a proper spinner rack. I got that from the ComX Shop here in Newcastle.
That's awesome.
And I was stoked to have my very own one, and I just wheel it around with me wherever I go. This is Eureka. This is real old. It's like, what does it say here? Yeah, 1988. It's as old as me. It's almost like a ComX prototype. It's got 4 short stories.
Oh, cool.
You got a Verity in there. She's a classic Australian character. Very 2000 AD. Look at the detail in that art is incredible.
Nice.
You got some sci-fi, some noir. You got a classic historical little piece there. You got this one that's a bit like a tank girl kind of thing. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Nice.
I had not heard of this comic at all. This one set me back a bit, but it was worth it. Got some nice pin-up kind of pages here. I'm assuming a lot of Australian readers who have been reading Australian comics for a while know of Verity Aloha. I think she had a resurgence with IDW not too long ago. And the guy who bought it from me threw in issue 2 for half price. Which has most of the same titles. Comic Dungeon, that goes back a ways. Yeah, a couple of standalone.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool to find that. I was very lucky. It's I can't imagine there would have been much like this back in the day. And I ran it by the few people whose opinions I trust, like Dave Dye. They hadn't heard of it, which surprised me.
Oh, we got to
That's
thank
some
you from
really
Brad.
impressive art.
That's awesome.
No problem, Brad. Anytime.
Anytime, buddy.
Because I'm not always on, so I can say that. The promise I don't have to keep.
The time traveler is not from Australia. He lives in California.
It's
That
not.
was explained.
That explains it.
That explains
said-
why you haven't seen these comics. That would explain it.
Very
Although I
good
haven't
read. I was
seen a lot of
very
these
happy to
comics
find it.
myself.
No, that was
But,
lucky, but I'm glad I found them.
Well, that's pretty much the show. We've done
Beautiful.
our comics. Support Australian indie comics, people. Whether it's going down to places like D's and Impact and other stores that support indie comics, or if it's supporting Kickstarters like Bradley's, or if it's just going to places like ComX Shop. Oh, where would that be? And buying some indie comics. So, so on that note, I'm going to end the show on an ad. So,
Beautiful.
good night, all.
Good night.
See you next week for another
Thanks for having me.
AusComX Show. And thank you, Peter, very much for standing in and
Absolute
for hopefully
pleasure.
being a continued member of the hosting team.
I'm keen.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
Night, all.
Bye, all.
Are you feeling a little down? Tired of reading the same old books again and again? Looking for something different? Why not head over to the ComX Shop now and pick yourself up some freshly inked inspiration? Inspiration!